going to be talking about episode 13 of Deadliest Catch. And the boats that are going to be in this episode are the Northwestern, the Saga, Summer Bay, and the Southern Wind. And this episode starts out with the Northwestern, and it shows what happened at the end of last episode where they're like 10 miles from the ice pack and a pin popped out on the crane, so the crane came down like this on the deck. After it shows the aftermath of the crane falling down, Sig was not very happy. He didn't realize that his brother Norman was at the controls of the crane when it happened. He thought it was Carl. Sig started blaming Carl, and then he asked Carl to come up, but Norman came up and was like, I was at the controls of the crane. So then they started looking at it and trying to figure out what happened and what they're going to do. So they move a pot to kind of hold it in place, and then they use the picking boom to hold it, because the crane had the possibility of falling off, and it wouldn't just land on the deck, it would actually fall off and go to the bottom of the Bering Sea. And that crane cost over $100,000, and it's a pretty new crane. They got it a couple years ago. Then it goes to the Summer Bay, and the Summer Bay is setting their gear about 30 miles from the ice floe. And then it goes to the Saga, and the Saga is in the southern grounds. They are not up by the U.S.-Russian line. They're closer to St. Paul and Dutch Harbor. The storm is starting to build, and the Saga is starting to get inches and inches of ice. Jake and the Saga are about 80 miles away from where he wanted to set his gear, but the boat started to roll funny, so Jake was like, well, I just gotta set my gear right here, right now. Jake drops all of his gear off. Then he's like, I gotta wait till the storm dies down. Then it goes back to the Northwestern, and Sig calls Captain Harley over on the Southern Wind, and it shows both of the boats, and Sig told Captain Harley what happened to their crane. Sig asks Harley if they can go move their pots that are close to the ice floe, and Harley's like, yeah, we can do that for you. Then it goes to the Summer Bay, and the Summer Bay is setting their gear. All of a sudden, they just set a pot, and that pot's line gets caught in the starboard propeller. And normally a propeller has blades on it that can cut rope, but the pot line got sucked up so bad into the starboard prop shaft. They retrieve the pot that they had just set, bring it back on board, and then the crew goes down into the engine room to try pipe wrenches and other things to try and get the shaft to turn. It's just not gonna happen. Wild Bill calls someone in St. Paul to see if there's any divers there, because if he had to go to Dutch Harbor, that'd be like a 7-day trip just on one engine. But if he went to St. Paul, it'd be like maybe a day or less to get into harbor. And he found out that Jake has a diver on board, so Captain Wild Bill calls Jake and asks him, do you have any divers on board? And Jake said, yes, we have 2 divers. Matt and another deckhand on the Saga are divers. Jake's like, we're heading to St. Paul, so we'll meet you in St. Paul to help you get your pot line undone from the prop shaft. So try and scrounge up as much diving gear as you can, and we'll do what we can for you. Then it goes to the Northwestern, and the Northwestern had just gone over 500 miles to get back from U.S.-Russian line. The crew starts taking the bolts and stuff off to get the crane lifted so it can get repaired. Because as of right now, the crane is going to need about $50,000 worth of repairs from the damage. And Clark is holding a bolt, and he brings it up to Sig. Clark was like, this is the only thing that was holding it in place. And Sig's like, there should have been another bolt or something to lock it in place while it's being used. It couldn't wiggle itself out, which is what happened. Then it goes to the Southern Wind, and the Southern Wind is hauling in their own gear, and they're getting like 200-300 Opelio crab, and then once they are done with that, they go over to Sig's gear and start hauling it in, and Harley's like, I don't know how much crab is going to be in these pots, but we're helping Sig out. So the first pot of the Northwestern's pots they pull in has about 200 Opelio crab in it, and then the next one they pull in has about 300 Opelio crab in it. So they're doing really well, and Harley is really happy about that. And it goes to the Summer Bay, and the Summer Bay calls into the St. Paul's harbor master and asks, do you guys have a dock where we can dock so we can get our pot line out of our prop? And the harbor master's like, yeah, we have a spot for you. So they go in and get it docked. Then the Saga, he lets them know that they're coming for permission to enter the harbor, and the harbor master lets them in. Then the Saga docks real close to the summer bay. Jake gives them a brand new knife that is really good and will help them get the pot line out of the prop shaft. One of the divers goes down and he has about 30 minutes of air to get the pot line out of the prop shaft. Shows him dealing with the pot line on the propeller shaft. He has 4 minutes left, and the crew on the summer bay, they have a hammer and they pound like 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and they just keep doing that until he's down to about 1 minute. And then he comes up and he's like, prop line is all good. While the diver was down under the summer bay, St. Paul Harbor was shut down because with having a 500,000 pound steel boat come through, it would create wakes and make it more dangerous for the diver. The diver could possibly smack his head on the hull of the summer bay, which would not have been good. So the harbor was shut down for about an hour plus while the diver went down. And then once the diver was out, the St. Paul Harbor was open. So then Wild Bill tests the starboard engine and it works fine. Captain Wild Bill thanks Jake and the crew, and Wild Bill goes down and he hands the Saga crew some money as a thank you present, and he's like, this is for you guys, dinner's on me. So then the Saga gets permission to head back out and go to their crab pots that they, basically an emergency set of their pots they had on board. And then the Summer Bay gets permission to leave St. Paul Harbor and go to their pots and deal with them. Then it goes to the Southern Wind, and the Southern Wind is just send the Northwestern's final pots a good ways away from the ice floe. Harley calls Sig to let him know that his pots are safe. Sig's happy about that. Then it goes to the Summer Bay. The Summer Bay gets back out to their gear, and the fishing is not so good, so Wild Bill's like, stack the gear and we'll find another place to put it. Then it goes to the Saga, and the Saga's just getting to their pots, and their first pot has a couple hundred in it, and Jake is really happy about that because he was not expecting there to be any paleo crab where they set their gears. And as they go farther into their string, the pots just keep getting better. Then it goes to the Northwestern, and it shows the Northwestern's crane being lifted off onto a trailer to go get fixed. And then it shows Jake hauling in some more pots. And that is how episode 13 of season 17 of Deadliest Catch ends. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Episode 14 of Deadliest Catch, and I'll get the review out within the next week or two. So stay tuned for that video. Don't forget to hit the bell icon down below so I can be notified when I upload videos. Also, please share this video with your friends and family. And don't forget to smash the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys for watching, and if you ain't dreaming, you ain't living. Don't forget to dream big.